Happy Camper Radio with Skip Huber.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Happy Camper Radio Show, the only place to be when you're ready to talk camping. Camping is what we're about. Camping is all we talk about. It's episode 171. Do you plan on going on a long-distance camping trip anytime soon? Do you plan on driving your own personal vehicle? Have you ever considered renting a vehicle and leaving your personal vehicle at home? We'll take a look at the benefits and both sides of the coin. It's renting versus driving your own vehicle to camp on this edition of Happy Camper Radio.
Happy Camper Radio. Happy Camper Radio.
And, of course, you can get in touch with us here at the Happy Camper Radio Show by calling 404-537-2267. That's 404-537-CAMP. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, add us to Circles on Google+, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to www.happycamperradio.com. You'll find all of our social media icons right there on the homepage. And when you sign up with us on social media, we give you a shout-out on the program. And I want to take a moment now to recognize some newcomers, some folks who recently signed up here on social media, Happy Camper Radio. First of all, to Adrienne Rowe of Boone, North Carolina. She likes us on Facebook. Amy Brighton of Tennessee. Darren Shiu of Hawaii. Shadow Hills RV Resort in Indio, California. To Ed Merlbert of Conroe, Texas. Melissa Douglas of Milan, Italy. Shirley Griffin. And finally, to John Bistick. They all follow us on Twitter this week. Thank you, each and every one of you. Glad to have you on board. More importantly, thank you for being a part of this great Happy Camper Radio family. Would you like to be a guest here on the program? Get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. We'll be sure to make that happen. The Happy Camper Radio Show can be heard all around the world by great listeners just like yourself. You can catch us in the iTunes Store and Podbean, Myra Guide, Stitcher, the BlackBerry Podcast Directory, iHeartRadio, and Google Play Music. And don't forget to go to happycamperradio.com where you can find every one of our previous episodes. We've been doing this a long time now, folks. I think in 2013 we got started, yes. You can go all the way back to day one. Just go to the homepage, happycamperradio.com, look for the podcast episode tab up on the top page, and you can just click on that and choose whatever episode you want. All right, let's talk today about the vehicle you drive and the possibility of renting a vehicle for your upcoming camping trip. Have you ever thought about this? You know, it's very easy to get caught up in all the excitement, everything that's going on, everything you planned for several months, and you never stop to think until you're on the road. And it may be a little bird in the back of your head tweeting at you and saying, hey, you going to get here okay? Is the car going to make it? I know on a few occasions I have traveled long distances, and that thought came up. And, of course, you know, my vehicle did get me there and back with no problem at all, and that's exactly the way we want it, but we just never know. Should long-distance campers consider renting a vehicle for their upcoming long-distance camping trip? Is the vehicle you're driving showing any signs of wear and tear? Are the tires worn out? Do you have a lot of excessive miles on your car, your truck, or your SUV? Then possibly the idea of renting a vehicle for your next long-distance camping trip may not be a bad idea. Here's some things you may want to consider. First of all, how far is it to your camping destination? What do you consider a long-distance camping trip? I'll tell you my idea. If you happen to travel any more than 100 miles, consider it to be a long-distance camping trip. You're looking about 3 hours from home. How many days will be in your camping trip? Are you going away for just a weekend, or are you going away for 5 or 6 days? Think about the size of your vehicle and the storage space. You're going to load all the family members into the car. You're going to have all the luggage. You're going to have all your camping gear. Is your vehicle going to make it? If something were to happen, if something, you broke down and all of a sudden you had to drop your car off for repair, pick up a rental vehicle, are you going to be able to find a rental vehicle that's going to accommodate all of the space you need for your family, for your camping supplies, everything. Think about the cost of renting a vehicle. Some people don't even think about that. But is there a possibility, even a slight possibility, that the vehicle that you drive every day, the one you're going to be taking on a camping trip, is not going to make it? The last thing any one of us want is car trouble along the way. Whether you're going to your trip, while you're there at the campground, or while you're traveling home. You don't want any problems. You don't want anything to happen that's going to disrupt your time away. Don't stress yourself out. Let's take a look at some of the risks of driving your own vehicle on a long-distance camping trip. Think about the added miles that you're going to be putting on your vehicle. Even if you own a new vehicle, let's say you bought one here maybe a year or two ago, or even just this year. I love the smell of new cars. Going to the dealership and opening the doors and sitting down inside and, oh yeah, that fresh air that you breathe, you want to call it fresh air. I like the new car smells. Of course, it all goes away the minute I step out and I look at the price tag that's on the side window. No, it all goes away at that point, folks. All right, increased mileage is going to cause the warranty on your vehicle to run out quicker. Whether your car is brand new, whether it's a year or two old, if it's under warranty, the more miles you put on it, the faster the warranty is going to run out. How about the over-the-road repair costs, if there are going to be any? In the event that you have a repair that cannot be completed that day, you're going to be looking at an unexpected hotel stay. And there's even more money that's eating into your budget. I doubt very much you're going to be in a position to take that cooler full of food with you that's inside your broken down vehicle and take it to the hotel room because you're not going to have any way to prepare anything. All of your cooking supplies, all of your camping supplies will probably still be on the vehicle. This is going to affect the length of your vacation. It's going to cause extra added stress. And keep in mind the wear and tear on your vehicle in the event you decide to drive your own as opposed to renting. About a year and a half ago, I made a trip down to South Georgia, and this was a very exciting time for me, folks, because I went down to visit an old friend that I hadn't seen in, a very long time. I bought a reliable vehicle back in 1996, and I consider that still a very reliable vehicle. It's a 96 F-150 Ford pickup truck with an 8-foot bed on it. You've heard me talk about it before on the show. I bought it late in the year, which allowed me to save even more money. And I didn't have a trade-in, so, they even knocked a little bit more off. But I still had to finance that vehicle for 4 years. Now, I paid it off a very long time ago. I still have that vehicle. It runs great. And the miles on it, consider the fact it's over 20 years old. It currently has 273,000 miles on it. I have had very few mechanical issues over the year. I did have to have it towed a couple times. There were a couple breakdowns, but it wasn't anything really severe. It did cause me to have to go out and rent a vehicle for a day or two, but I did get by it. Outside of that, the only thing I'm suffering right now is a leaky oil pan gasket. It runs great. It's a truck that I enjoy driving. I love it. I don't plan on trading it in anytime soon. I'm comfortable in my truck. Anywhere I go just about, I'm behind the wheel of that vehicle, even though I own my grandfather's 1980 Chevrolet Impala. It's in the garage. I do my best to take very good care of it. It was his church car. I believe it had like 28,000 miles on it when my grandmother finally sold it to me. But it's a great vehicle. I wouldn't take it on a camping trip. I definitely wouldn't take it up in the mountains on those dirt roads up there. So that won't happen. But I'm going to be in my truck for the most part when I go camping. Because of the truck's age and other factors, when I made that trip down to South Georgia a year and a half ago, I chose to rent a vehicle and leave my so-called reliable truck at home. Even though I had no problem at all driving it down there and back, I felt very confident it would get me down there. but I just didn't want to take the chances based upon the age of that vehicle and as many miles as I had on it. Being so far away from home, folks, you got to wonder. Only you can make this decision. Only you know what you drive and how comfortable you are behind the wheel of your vehicle. Do you constantly have problems? Is your vehicle constantly in the shop, but you just cannot afford a brand new car? You don't want any of these new car payments, not to mention the cost of insurance. Or if you have one of these so-called ad valorem taxes, like we have here in the state of Georgia, which is going to really jack the price up compared to what you're probably paying now for your tags every year. All these things got to be considered. But if you feel that you really want to go away on this trip and you're not quite sure you're going to be able to make it there, then the possibility of renting a vehicle to get you there and back would probably be a good idea. Vehicle owners must always be prepared for the worst-case scenario. Some things to ask yourself. Are you prepared to handle the financial responsibility in the event of a mechanical breakdown? Have I always gone the extra miles over the years to handle all routine maintenance? And every vehicle should have an owner's manual in the glove box. In that owner's manual, the manufacturer will have a set number of recommendations for that vehicle and things that you should perform on a regular basis. That includes regular oil changes, checking the brakes, lubrication, fluids, making sure they are topped off, keeping the tires inflated. They'll even tell you just how much air pressure should be put in those tires. Are your insurance and vehicle tags up to date too, folks? This is an easy thing to overlook. The bills come in the mail. The last thing you want to have to do is open the bill up and find out how much you pay, when is it going to be due, and wondering if you're going to have the money to pay it. And sometimes we overlook these things. Yes, we'll take out the insurance card, put that in the car, because we know in most states you've got to have proof of insurance in the event you get stopped. But you got to make sure that those things are paid, and you got to make sure that your vehicle tags are up to date each and every year. It can be very easy to overlook these things, including your driver's license. When was the last time you opened up your wallet and looked at your driver's license just to make sure it is not expired? The state very seldomly will give you a reminder that you have your driver's license up for renewal. It's going to be up to you to make sure that you check that date and you get down to the DMV. In some cases, depending upon what state you're in, you can actually go online and renew your driver's license. But these things you've got to consider. And like I say, when you're planning a camping trip, it's real easy to get caught up in things, and some of these things can very easily be overlooked. Let's talk about the trips closer to home. Traveling less than 100 miles to reach your destination. Most likely, it's going to be safe for you to drive your own vehicle as opposed to renting. But again, only you know the vehicle. You know whether or not it's going to be safe. And it's going to be up to you to make sure that you do all those routine maintenance checks like I just talked about. If you're not doing it right now, this will be a great time to get in the habit. Have your car checked out by a reliable mechanic. Good mechanics are hard to come by these days, and if you happen to find one, and he happens to be honest, and you feel comfortable with his services and the money he charges, hang on to that guy, all right, because you're going to want to use him anytime your vehicle breaks down or you need routine maintenance checks. You need the spark plugs changed, or maybe the spark plug wires or some hoses changed, whatever the case may be. You want to use that mechanic. I've got one here. He was recommended to me by a close friend, and I have been using him ever since. Very reliable. I know when I get my car into the shop that the work is going to be done, it's going to be completed, it's going to be done right, and the price is going to be fair. Check your oil on a regular basis. If you want to keep that vehicle running for a very long time, like I am my pickup truck, you're going to routinely change that oil at the manufacturer's recommendation. Check the air in the tires, too. It's going to save you on gas. Make sure that your spare tire is properly inflated, and check to make sure that you have a jack inside your car. Make sure that your kid didn't borrow it to jack up his car and change his tire and forgot to put it back. The last thing you need to have is a tire go out on you while you're on a camping trip and you have no way to jack your car up in the air. It can happen. Never underestimate the cost of towing, too, just in the event you need it. My trips to the North Georgia mountains, where I typically go camping, is about 100 miles each way. I'll be honest with you, it's 106. Not too far back, I went and I checked it from the minute I left the driveway till the minute I pulled into the campsite. It came up to 106 miles each way. Now, I consider that to be a short-distance camping trip. Okay, I tossed a couple more miles in there, so what? But I'm comfortable driving my vehicle. Again, we think about these things only when we really need to, and we should be thinking about it all the time when we're planning a long-distance camping trip out of town. All of these checks are just as important as your camping inventory. I set alerts on my smartphone, so I know when some of these important checks are coming up. I even have a yearly date where I change the oil and the oil filter on my riding lawnmower, and the way I do that is I put a message on the calendar, and it comes up about 3 days ahead of time on my smartphone to remind me I have an oil change coming. Same thing with my truck. Same thing with my grandmother's car. If you have some sort of a plan in place and you're comfortable with it, and a lot of folks today use these smartphones, you'll be amazed what they can do. You might want to consider adding these reminders to your calendar. Even if it comes down to a reminder that you need to get your vehicle into the mechanic for a checkup, definitely do that. Now, I had an automatic transmission go out on me before. This was a very long time ago. I was a kid back then. It was my first vehicle. It was a Pontiac Le Mans 1968 model. And I had bought that vehicle from a friend, which was probably not a good thing to do. But I did drive that car, and I've got to admit it was a lemon. I've constantly had problems with it, but the day that automatic transmission went out, that really hit me in the wallet, but good. That repair was about $350. My vehicle was down for 2 days. Consider what it would cost today if you didn't have a warranty on the vehicle you're driving and the transmission went out. It would probably put about a $1,200 dent in your wallet. And I don't know too many people that are carrying that kind of spare change with them at all times. It's definitely going to set your camping trip back a day or two. But here's another thing too, folks, and I've encouraged this on the show before. Always keep your cell phone charged. Have it handy just in case. Check your lights, your turn signals. Don't overlook your license plate bulbs too. Not long ago, I got pulled over by the police, and I was heading into work. It was like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and I know he spotted that thin blue line that was on the bumper of my vehicle. He probably knew right then I was a current law enforcement officer or a retired officer. It didn't really matter, but I'm going to treat the guy with respect when he comes walking up to my window. Anyway, he came up there, and he asked me if I knew why I was being pulled over. I said, I had not a clue. And he says, your license plate bulbs are out. Wow. Think about the last time you walked around your vehicle and checked all the lights to make sure that they were working. Your headlights, your turn signal lights, your backup lights, your license plate bulbs, those things do go out. And the last thing you want to do is be traveling down the road somewhere in the middle of the night and find out that you do not have any turn signals or you don't have any brake lights. Very dangerous situation. So you're going to want to make sure you check these things too occasionally. Now, here's something else. When was the last time you checked your driver's license to make sure it was valid or to make sure that you had valid insurance? Police nowadays have these fancy computers, and I know this for a fact, and they're able to go online and check these things through the state to make sure that the information that you gave them is valid. Some states allow you to go online and go to the Department of Motor Vehicles or the Driver's License Bureau and enter your driver's license number, and it can tell you right then and there if you're driving on a valid license. You'd be surprised how many people these days are driving on a suspended license. If you fail to pay your auto insurance, and some of us take a look at auto insurance like, well, we'll put that on the back burner because we've got our cable TV that we have to pay first. If you fail to pay that insurance on time and your insurance lapse, then they're going to turn around and notify the state that you haven't paid your auto insurance, and the state is going to send you a letter. And if you don't respond to that letter, and usually they send it by certified mail, so you have no way of missing it, but if you do not respond to that letter, the state will automatically suspend your license. Now, I'm not saying that's the way it happens in all 50 states. I know it happens here in Georgia. You may be driving around and thinking you've got a license that's valid. You've already paid that insurance, even though it was late. But you're driving around town and you have no earthly idea that your license is suspended. So you can go ahead online, if your state allows you to, and check to make sure that you have a valid driver's license. You should know if your insurance is valid. And if you have any questions about that, contact your insurance salesman. He'll be able to tell you. How about the vehicle tags on your vehicle? Sometimes people overlook this as well. You may get a letter in the mail, like we do each and every year, a couple, maybe 2 or 3 months before your birthday, and reminds you that you have your vehicle tags coming due. And you've got to go ahead and take care of them. You've got to put new tags on your vehicle, and you've got to pay those taxes. That's what it's all about. So, you got to make sure all that's taken care of, too. You don't want to be driving a long-distance trip away from home, coming to find out that you have invalid insurance, you have a driver's license that's expired, or perhaps the tags on your vehicle have not been renewed. Let's not even go there, okay? So just make sure all those things are taken care of, especially if you're going on a long-distance camping trip. It doesn't hurt, too, to consider AAA membership or maybe Good Sam, where you can actually reach out to these folks in the event you have a breakdown and get your vehicle towed in. We're not thinking about these things. We don't want them to happen, but sometimes they do. You may even want to check your auto insurance policy to see if it covers towing. In most cases, when it comes to towing your vehicle and you're going to rely upon your insurance company to pay for it, you will probably have to pay for that towing bill up front, out of pocket, and be reimbursed by your insurance company later on. All insurance policies are different. Talk to your insurance provider and make sure that you have the coverage you need. Most camping trips, like I say, are going to go without a hitch, but you've got to be prepared and you've got to brace yourself for the unexpected. Let's take a look at the benefits of renting a vehicle for your camping trip. You're going to be driving a vehicle, first of all, with very low miles. You're going to have the reliability you need and the peace of mind that you need that you're going to get to your camping destination and back with no problem at all. If you're going to rent a vehicle, I would highly encourage you to rent a vehicle from a well-known distributor. I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not selling any car rental policies or anything like that. So you know what I'm talking about. Definitely go to your Yellow Pages, go online. You can think of some right at the very top of your head and possibly identify some car rental places near you. Just about every one of them is going to have a toll-free number for you to call in the event there is a mechanical failure. If you're renting for the very first time, chances are they're going to go through all of this with you. I know I have rented a vehicle before right here down at the bottom of the hill. I could actually walk there if I wanted to, but this particular company, if I needed to be picked up, they will come pick me up and take me to their office where I will go ahead and rent a car from there. It's a great rental facility, and I'm probably going to be using them again down the road. There's no doubt about it. In the event you do break down, you have a mechanical failure, and you're in a rental vehicle, you're going to be back on the road in a replacement car before you know it. You're going to save money on fuel. You're going to save money on the wear and tear of your own vehicle, regardless of its age. It's going to allow you to keep your car parked in the driveway. It's going to give people the impression that somebody is home. Most car rental facilities are going to require a major credit card for car rentals. Stick with a well-known, reliable rental agency, like I say. It's always great knowing that you're going to have the reliability and the dependability to get to your camping destination and back with no problems at all. It's going to cost you a little bit of money out of pocket. Yes, it will. But again, if you have any of these questions, if there's ever any concern while you're preparing for your trip, and don't wait till you're on the road. If you're thinking about it ahead of time, if you're beginning to wonder, yes, something could happen and how am I going to handle it, then I would strongly suggest you consider renting a vehicle to get you to your camping destination. Again, the rental units come in all kind of different sizes, different models. You can even rent trucks. If I had to go rent a vehicle to get me to my camping destination, yes, I would rent a truck because of all of the camping gear I take with me. And some of them will even allow towing. You got to check on that too. I have a big trailer that I tow behind me, and if it's locally and I pick up some firewood and take it to my destination, I'm going to want to have that towing option available to me when I rent the truck. Are pets permitted too? Some rental agencies will not allow pets inside the vehicle, so check with them and make sure it's not in the policy somewhere when you go ahead and sign on the dotted line. What do you do in the event of an unexpected accident or collision? This is something else. You know, whenever you're filling out that paperwork, there will be an option on there where you can pay a little bit more money every day, but it's going to cover those collisions whether you're at fault or not. Even check with your insurance company to find out whether or not they cover accident or collision insurance in the event you're driving a rental unit. Look over the compartment space, determine if you have adequate storage for all of your camping gear. I would go ahead and visit them ahead of time and make your reservations, get your reservation in there, let them know when you're leaving, let them know when you're going to be coming back, and you'll be able to get a bottom line figure right then and there. Again, it's going to cost you a little bit more money than you wanted to spend. You may have to factor it into the budget, but I certainly would want the reliability of being able to drive to and from my camping destination if I was traveling 200 or 300 miles away and not have to worry about being broke down at the side of the road and what am I going to do next. Be sure that you drive the posted speed limit, folks, and always obey traffic laws. If you fail to pay your parking tickets or moving violations and you're driving a rental unit, forget about that. They've got your credit card number. The city or the jurisdiction where you got the traffic ticket, if you have not paid that ticket, they will bill the rental car company, and the rental car company will bill your credit card. You also agree to this when you sign your rental agreement. Carefully consider all your insurance options provided. Check with your current automobile insurance carrier to see what they cover and what they don't. Be sure to go over the entire vehicle with your rental agent. Walk around it, all the way around it. Check for dents, check for scratches, make sure that there's no damage to the exterior or the interior. The agent will also take note of how much gas is in the vehicle when you left, and you've got to return it with that much fuel. If you need to buy fuel, do it while you're on the road, because if you have to get it there at the rental agency, if they have to put gas in a car, chances are they're going to spend a whole lot more money, and it's going to be added to your credit card. Again, folks, renting a vehicle for your camping trip will add to your budget. You don't want to spend any more money than you have to. But if it's going to mean that you're going to have the reliability to get to your camping destination and back, and you're going to save the wear and tear on your own personal vehicle, then renting makes good sense. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Happy Camper Radio.
This week, we're going to go out to the state of Virginia to Morris Hill Campground as part of George Washington and Jefferson National Forest, run by the U.S. Forestry Service. This campground is open all the way through Saturday, September 9th of 2017. You can make your reservations right there online, and I'm going to have a link to it on Happy Camper Radio's webpage all week long. Morris Hill is a peaceful, rustic campground for groups of family and friends. The family campground is a family-friendly destination perched on a ridge above Lake Muma. Kids can have fun at the playground, while older generations, just like myself, can sit back, relax in the shade. Yes, that's exactly what I do. Talked about it all the time, folks. Yeah, when you get older and you don't want to do all that running around, you're going to enjoy your time by the campfire. The group sites can accommodate up to 25 guests with space for up to 8 tents. Campers can enjoy the wonders of camping with simple pleasures like s'mores on the campfire, berry picking in the woods, and watching for waterfowl and wildlife like deer. The family campground, most sites will fit any size RV. Campsite's amenities include flush toilets, hot showers, a playground, drinking water. The group sites, there's no water or electricity. Keep that in mind when you're making your reservations. 2 fully accessible vault toilets are present. Picnic tables and a group grill are on each group site. Coles Point Boat Ramp, the nearest boat ramp to Morris, is less than 2 miles away. Check out all of their activities and amenities. You'll find them right there on the website. I'm going to have it for you on Happy Camper Radio all this week. Be sure to check the know before you go items too. Also, don't move firewood. Help protect your forest from those tree-killing pests by obtaining your firewood at or near your destination and burning it on site. For more information, check out don'tmovefirewood.org or click on the link on happycamperradio.com. This looks like a peaceful, wonderful, comforting camping destination in the state of Virginia. If you happen to be there, passing on through between now and September, consider Morse Hill Campground. It is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Skip Huber on happycamperradio.com.
And of course, if you have a campground you would like for us to feature on the show, that magical place you have been to you'd like the world to know about, get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. Be sure to include a link to the campground website. And of course, that's going to wrap up this edition of the Happy Camper Radio Show. Still plenty of time this summer to take in that good camping weather. Get out there and do it. Remember, friends, every pet deserves a loving home. Do exactly like I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. You can find us online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. Add us to Circles on Google+, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. And yes, my friends, I'm going to do my best to make a happy camper out of you. We'll be talking to you again real soon. Have a good one, everybody. You're listening to Happy Camper Radio.